Welcome, everyone, to this episode of SestraNow Sisterhood Network Women in Business. I am so excited about this episode. Today, we want to introduce you to the phenomenal, the amazing Cynthia Ellis, right? Cynthia Ellis, aka Biz Coach C, small business consultant, founder of and owner of Cynthia Ellis Management LLC, right? But she's known to us as the Biz Coach, the small business consultant. She helps entrepreneurs pursue their dreams of growing their own business, whether it is a product or service-based business or a nonprofit, right? So, Cynthia, welcome to our show, Women in Business. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for having me. And speaking of phenomenal, I don't know if you've looked in the mirror lately, but phenomenal is also looking back at you. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction and that beautiful compliment. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. That's Sestra to Sestra. That's the thing. We're a little biased as Sestras, right?
That's right. That's right.
We're all phenomenal. But
All phenomenal.
all right. So let's just get right into it. So tell us a little bit about yourself, right? Let's start where first of all, let's get this power presentation up. I am going to share my screen and let's get this going. Okay. And so, Cynthia, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where were you born? Where were you raised?
Oh, okay. I love this. And I was telling Stephanie before we started this live that I have not had many interviewers, many CEOs ask me about my personal history that far back. So I really appreciate this because it really brings my story home. But I'm originally from Louisville, Kentucky. So I'm a mountain girl. The maternal side of my family, however, though, is basically from South and North Carolina. So I ended up migrating here fully to North Carolina with my mom's side of the family. And having been someone who's born in the mountains, loved them and seen them, believe it or not, my favorite place to be is the beach, as furthest away from the mountains as I can get. But but that's where I'm from. I still love to go visit home, still love to visit family, but I do consider North Carolina to actually be my home. And so having landed here, found my husband here, started a family here, I really don't see myself leaving North Carolina, but it's wherever God calls me, right? To do his work and the people that I need to serve. So that's
So tell
originally
us,
where I'm from.
tell us about your hubby. Where did you, if you don't mind, where did you meet him? How long you guys been together? And do you have children?
We do. So I tell you what, I call him Big Sugar. So
All
Big
right.
Sugar, or AKA Pooh Bear, as I can also call him, is he's an ordained minister. We met 26 years ago, and we've been married for 24 of those years. We were, so to speak, high
Wow.
school sweethearts. He had already graduated, but I met him when I was in high school. So this man took me to proms. We've gotten, our first home together, merged our families, and I would not ask to be, I couldn't ask to be with a better man, honestly. When they talk about king material, he's almost my 6 book ball of volume, keeps all of us intact, keeps
Aww.
all of us sane, keeps us covered in prayer. And he's very, very strong in all sorts of ways. And I will stop bragging on my husband at this point. But I love me some Renee Ellis. His name is actually Renee. So
All
I love
right,
me some
Renee.
Renee. So
All
we
right.
have
So
two girls.
two girls.
We
Tell
got
us.
two girls. I say girls, I still call them babies, but Hannah, that you see with the glasses there, Hannah is her father's twin, and she's very cool, calm, and collected. Hannah's 21 now and getting ready to start attending university. She's leaving home next year. She wants to major in psychology and start her own therapy and counseling center called Trinity. So she's already on the move with that. Trinity Wellness Solutions. My baby girl,
Wow.
Elizabeth, there is 18 with a twist in her hair. She's 18 now. They were very young in this picture. But
Okay.
Elizabeth wants to go into sonography and ultrasounds, and she'll be finishing early college this year. So I'm super duper proud of my girls. They're absolutely amazing. I love them. Oh my
Okay,
gosh,
who's in
yes.
this? Who we have here?
All right. So every year we family reunion at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So the girl with the ponytail is my baby. That's Elizabeth, or Lizzie as we call her. With the beads is a distant relative, but I always love babies. So, but back behind me directly is another piece of my heart. He's my nephew slash son. That's Bobby back there in the back.
All right. Okay. All right. And who do we have here?
All right. Now, this is a dear friend of mine. We met in small business, but since then we've been to brunch together. We talk on the phone. We chat through text. This is Shannon Daniels. If you've ever seen on Facebook, the Butterfly Tea Company, this is the tea lady. Shannon is someone she inspires me so much. And not only does she inspire me, but her teas actually have wellness, health benefits. And so
All right.
I drink her teas like religiously almost. I keep them on order, keep them on standby. But Shannon is a miracle in disguise. I don't even know if it's a disguise because I think her smile is a dead giveaway that she's a sweetheart.
Oh, okay. So let's jump into your business. Tell us
Yeah.
about Ellis Management. What led you to start the business and your mission and your vision for it?
Yeah, so I started Ellis Management back in 2013. Stephanie, I really started it because I needed to support my family financially. That was the bottom line. I needed to make sure that my girls were very young at the time. I had to make sure that I had financial stability for them, and that's really where it was born out of. And I've always loved to help people anyway. So my prayer was, God, help me utilize the skills, the experience, everything that you have allowed me to have to bless other people, but to also provide for my family. And so out of that came the knowledge and skills that I had, which
Yes.
was retail management, banking and finance, and healthcare. And I took those three lines of experience, and I had probably over about 20 years at that time when I started of
Yes.
experience in those fields. And it just went from kind of coaching doctors and consulting doctors to doing it for several different positions. And then right before COVID hit, it turned into, why can't you do this for everyone? And so then my services is expanded to anyone who wants to start a business to provide for their family, to create
Wow.
financial freedom for themselves, to create outlets to be able to take vacations, to be able to put food on the table, to keep the roof over their heads and pay the mortgage. That's what it turned into, is me realizing that I didn't just need to improve my financial situation, but if I was truly going to give back, I needed to find a way to help other people improve their quality of life.
Wow. Oh my goodness. That is so admirable and consistent with our mission, SestraNow's mission of empowering women. And that's why I'm so happy that now, that I met you and that we are partnered and collaborating, because that's important that we share the vision. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on in this picture?
Oh, in this picture, this was really special to me because I'm trying to remember what year it was. And I actually have that award sitting right here on my desk in my home office. It is 15 under 40. It was class of 2016. I'd been in business with Ellis Management for 3 years at the time. And one of the doctors that I met actually nominated me for this award in my local community. And I did not think that I would get awarded for being an outstanding small business individual in my community at that time. It's like when you're doing the work, you don't, especially when you're trying to help people, you don't necessarily look for the applause. And
Yes,
so I
yes,
didn't consider myself as being, in a class of business owners that were giving so much back to their community. I just love helping people. So that's what I was out doing. And
yes.
lo and behold, with this nomination, like the award came with it. And I was really, really surprised because it was the first class in my community where they actually did something, a small business award like this. So I won a 15 under 40 business award, 15 outstanding business professionals under the age of 40 back in
Wow.
2016. And
Congratulations.
that was awesome. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
And who,
you.
who is this handsome young man?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this picture has a lot of meaning behind it. And Stephanie, I didn't get a chance to explain to you what this picture means, but this picture is really strong because I am a diabetic and I also have an anti-inflammatory disease called sarcoidosis. And so
Okay.
for months, I went around with bone pain, muscle pain, wasn't sure what was wrong with me. My business was starting to fall off because my health was starting to fall off and I could not keep up with what was going on with Ellis Management, otherwise try to plan. And this is actually my ophthalmologist who kept my eyes
Okay.
checked. And when I began to start losing vision and starting to get really blurry vision, this was the doctor that suggested that I have certain labs done that indicated what my actual illness was. And so
Yes.
this came as a result of overworking, not not participating in self-care, not
Yes.
taking time to stop and breathe and say, let me take no self-care days. This is hours and hours, like up all night type hours working and doing all sorts of things. But Dr. Sutton was the doctor in that picture who helped me find what was
Okay.
going on and also taught some sense into me about taking better care of myself along with my PCP. So take care of yourself, ladies. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
You know what? We have to then segue into my next question. Tell us
Okay.
about how you recently, I know because I'm your Facebook friend, we follow each other. You recently left corporate America to run Ellis Management full time. Can you tell us about that journey to freedom from corporate America and what is it like? I think we can
Wow.
all just be inspired by that journey. Go ahead, please tell us.
I can tell you in the end, it is as liberating as you think it is. It is as freeing a feeling as you imagine it would be. It would be leaving corporate America is just as exciting and just as fulfilling as you've ever imagined it to be. And a lot of people say, you're leaving the security of your job and you don't know what's going to happen next. And you don't, but nobody knows what's going to happen next, even if you did have the job. So the jobs can easily lay you off and all these sorts of things. But I actually had an opportunity to leave the job probably about 5 years ago, and I decided not to. And I was trying to decide then, am I going to go fully into CLS management or am I going to pursue corporate America? And I decided to pursue corporate at the time because, again, my children were younger. It offered me security. I was home and everything like this. But my business still continued to grow. It was like God kept opening doors for me to help people. And I kept expounding in knowledge and opportunities just kept coming. And no matter how I tried, I could not get away from what I love doing. And so finally, about 2 years ago, because this year is the year that I left corporate America, about 2 years ago, I
Yes.
started recognizing, okay, it's growing, it's happening. Do I want it to happen this time? And my answer to myself was immediately yes, because I told myself, I didn't give myself the chance, the opportunity the first time. This time, I feel like I want to walk into destiny and I want to see what God has for me. And that took a lot of
Yes.
courage. Took a lot of courage. It took a lot of planning, Stephanie, because you have to be really wise about the decision, not just smart. It takes wisdom. You're
Yes.
considering your spouse, you're considering your children, legacy, whatever nest egg that you have. How will you continue to let it grow? What's going to happen from here? But so that's what I planned for. I planned for my relationships to continue to flourish, for my children to still be provided everything they needed, for a secure financial future for myself. So I built up enough savings to give me 6 months to cover my expenses, both in my business and personally. I made sure my investments were intact. I spoke with the most important people in my life about it. And then I crafted a growth plan around my business over a 2 year span. I had a 2 year succession plan. And when the 2 years ended, I was able to walk away. It was a success, and I'm very
Yes.
thankful for it.
Okay, so we're gonna get into that because I want to, one of my questions is going to be tips that you have for women business owners and
Yeah.
other personal questions, but I want to get through some of these pictures and tell, so we can get to know you a little bit. Tell us about this picture.
Oh my
Who?
goodness. So a lot of these pictures you're gonna see are me being in the community. So you know who I am by now, and you know I love giving back and being a part of what's going on in my community. So one of my biggest fans is the little short lady on my right there, because I'm facing this camera. So that's my mother. And her name is
Oh,
Joanna. But my nickname, y'all know, over the years, your mama's names change, right? It's mommy, it's mama, it's ma, it's now we're like best friends. So she's Jody. She's not even Joanne,
oh,
like I call my mama Jody. She's my best friend. But we are with Miss North Carolina, actually. We are in the community participating in our local strawberry festival in this picture. And we met Miss North Carolina, who sang the roof off the building that night. And
wow,
so we had to give her flowers. And then, of course, we had to be fangirls and get a photo with her. So community
wow.
involvement.
Okay, this is more community involvement here, right?
Absolutely. So on the left is I sing, but don't tell anybody that. So this was our praise
Wow.
and worship team at church. And the left is one of the older mother figures in our church who has now passed. She passed when she was in her 90s. But that
Sorry.
me and my worship team there, LaShoni, Jasmine, Barbara, I love the pipes on these ladies. They can sing like nobody's business. But
I didn't know you sang. You're a woman of many talents, but go ahead. And on the right, there's a health fair.
yeah, so on the right is the corporate organization that I ended my relationship this year. I was a healthcare administrator at a family practice for 15 years, and the practice was named G&G Healthcare. It's located in Columbus County, and it is a resilient company who focuses on improving the quality of life through access to healthcare, access to quality and affordable healthcare to folks in rural southeastern North Carolina. And those are some hospital partners that I'm photoed with there.
Great. Thank you. And who do we have here?
All right, this is the picture I'm gonna try not to cry on. But this
Oh,
this is myself, and this is Jody in the middle, and it was actually her retirement party. She called me 6 a.m. one morning, Stephanie. She's a retired educator, 33 and a half years. She called me 6 a.m. one morning. She was like, I'm going to retire. And I was like, don't do it. I need you to pray about that a little bit more because it's 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm not sure you know what you're saying.
yes.
1 p.m., she calls me back and she was like, I did it. I signed the papers. And I was like, okay. So then my sister, who's on the other end, called me and we planned a retirement party. My sister Michelle, who's the
Yes.
inspiration for a lot of what I do, she's actually part of the reason why I take better care of myself today. She died at the age of 40 as a type 1
Oh,
diabetic. And she had, if you can imagine how big my heart is, if you would multiply that by 10 times, that would have been my sister.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about your loss. Just your sister has on these shoes. I remember those shoes. I had those shoes.
Oh my God.
She's so beautiful. Only four. She's
Yeah.
40 here, or young. She's
Yeah.
younger. Wow. I'm so sorry to hear about that. Your
Oh, well,
loss, but
thank
she's
you. And I'm sorry to cry.
no. Don't
I'm
be
so sorry.
sorry. I completely understand. That's your sister. But
Yeah.
like you're doing something positive with that loss. You're in remembrance of her. So I applaud you for that.
Oh,
Who are these
thank you.
women at the boardroom table?
Oh my goodness. These women are precious. So these were and still are, I consider them clients. So there are locally what we call the Seniors Club. And these ladies have an organization that supports individuals with sickle cell anemia by
Yes.
providing transportation to their doctor's visits. They help them pay for food, for lodging, for treatment for themselves, for care for their
Wow.
families. They contribute to education. So very, very strong women around the table. And even at this table, I can't stress the importance of really pursuing your dream. And when you feel like you should be doing something or you feel like there's a purpose or calling placed on your life to do anything, because one of the treasurer of this organization has actually passed since this meeting last year. And so the
My
organization is
goodness.
now moving on without her, but she contributed heavily to the success of them while she was still alive. So long live Miss Alston, but long live Senoras Club, because these ladies are doing amazing things. And I was happy to be
Wow.
training them on nonprofit budgeting that day.
Wow, I look forward to you doing a lot of that training for us too. You do so much in your community. We just
Yeah, thank
Monday
you.
motivation routine. Don't worry what others think. Be fearless. Be yourself. Monitor your progress. Continue to improve. And I must say, this is what you do all day, every day, encouraging CEOs like myself to keep going. And so, who do we have here?
Oh my goodness. This is let me think of her name. Her husband actually is my husband's barber, Fleming.
Oh,
She's a Fleming. And so Sonia Fleming is her name, and she is the CEO of Amazing Glazing Sweet Treats. And Sonia actually has gone from being a small town baker to having her baked goods in local stores. And I think she's
wow.
still on the move and in plans of, having her own bakery. Right now, she's still an at-home bakery, but uh, she's always looking for plans to get into her own brick and mortar, and she's closer now than she's ever been. But even without the brick and mortar, she's already become super successful, and she's just a woman who inspires me so much. So I'm out in the community with her that day. I think we actually attended a ribbon cutting where she served her treats, and I had to speak on behalf of our Chamber of Commerce.
You're surrounded by so many powerful women. So I'm going to get into some other questions that I have because the
Yeah.
time is getting away from us, but
Okay.
nonprofits are business too. So I'm going to stop this presentation and let's just get into let's just have some conversation. So let
All
me
right.
ask you this. It's not even on my list of
Okay.
questions, but do you ever feel threatened by other CEOs? I know, like, do you ever feel like, oh my goodness, right? Because I know you're coming across them, right? Because you're
Yeah.
on Facebook and there are all these powerful women business owners, and it looks like you're surrounded by them in your community. Do you ever feel threatened? Do you ever feel, a competitive edge come on you where you feel you must compete, with that other powerhouse women? How do you handle that? Being around so many strong, powerful women all the time, and especially when you're a business consultant, do you ever feel threatened?
Threatened and as if I need to compete? No. I meet tons of strong women, like you said, all the time, powerful business women. And I have adopted a mentality of growth and learning. So, if anything, I'm looking for opportunities to learn from them, to grow through what I'm seeing from them, even if it's just to rub elbows for 5 minutes. I'm trying to figure out what can I glean from this individual, and my thought process is, how could I potentially work with you someday? And
Yes,
so
yes,
I,
yes.
I immediately, I don't even have a switch anymore. And this was a long time ago. Like, I think I used to feel more not threatened, but like more irrelevant, or like I didn't belong in that space, or like I didn't belong in that room. And I think I've always felt more of that just from my personal wiring and growing up and learning how to have better confidence and better self-esteem. I think I dealt more with that and feel a feeling of not belonging in the room with such brilliant minds, until that's why I really never had a switch to turn off to say, oh, I need to compete with her to have that space. It was more
Yes.
like, I need to compete against myself and raise the bar so I can belong in this space.
Woo!
And it has to grow into, you have to start recognizing your own growth at some point, right? Because people all around us recognize it, but it's so hard for us to see. It's just like if you were a child and your parent were not making the ticks along the wall, you wouldn't see how you were growing. And I think personal growth works the same when we become adults. And especially in business, we don't see the ticks on the wall, but the folks around us do. And so we have to find ways that we can quantify and qualify our growth. So we're not asking ourselves, do I belong in this room? You're intentionally beginning to put yourself in rooms where you want to be. And so you indeed do belong in that space. And so that's how I approached it. I never felt like I've had to compete. If I feel like, though, that someone around me feels like they have to compete with me, I will try to go to them and to find a common ground in conversation. If I feel like that can't happen, then I'll use discernment and kind of distance
Wow.
myself, and I'll still love you and support you. But I know that there's some growth there that needs to happen. So I don't,
Wow.
I don't really initiate much when I
That's so
see those things
mature.
happening. Yeah. And you
That's
know what? I
why
think that's the key to it. If I had to
be
sum it up, it
mature.
would just be maturity,
Yes. And
It'd
that's
just
why
be
you're the
maturity.
business coach. That's why you're the small business coach,
Oh,
right? Because it takes a bit of maturity to be able to work with not just women, but women and men in business
oh,
at all different levels, because people at different levels, even there, I'm sure you come across as a business coach, those that they think they're smarter than you, they think they know more than you,
yeah,
but you know better,
yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
So let me ask you this. What is your biggest challenge in life and in business? What would you say was your biggest challenge in life and in business?
My biggest challenge in life and business, and it's going to be one of the same. It is the allocation of my time because I spend, and this is going to sound like an oxymoron. I spend a lot of time planning out my time. So I
That
do.
sounds smart.
I'm a very thorough person. And so it's hard for me to make instinctive decisions or impulsive decisions. And so I think sometimes one of the challenges that I face is that when I need a faster result or a faster solution, I may not always get to it as quickly as I would desire it to be, or that even some people involved with me would desire for that to be. But when it does
Okay.
come, it's absolutely what's needed at that time. But I would say if there was a challenge that I faced, it is I think because I am so thorough sometimes, I will get analysis paralysis and I'll get bogged down in the weeds of let's move it forward. I finally got it together because I believe in planning until it's absolutely as close as perfection as I can get it. So perfection is my problem.
I don't call it a problem. That's your challenge, right?
Yeah.
What do you want to accomplish in business and in life before you leave this earth?
Oh, before I leave this earth, I'm not saying this to sound shallow, but I want to make sure that the next 3 generations of my family are taken care of financially. Generational wealth is one of those things that I would like to accomplish. And
Yes.
I think one of the things that I would love to have in my eulogy is that she was a loving mother, a loving
Aw.
wife, and she did all that she could to support the people in her community to make it a better place. That's
And you
honestly
and
what
you
I
are
aspire
doing
to
that.
do.
You're doing it. We just saw the evidence, right? We just saw the pictures. We saw the evidence. What would you say is your key to success?
Oh, my key to success is prayer.
Uh,
Prayer,
yes.
seriously, prayer, meditation, not one of the, I would say the first thing that I do when I get up in the morning is I spend time with God. And I know not everybody serves the same God that I do, but I would
Yes.
encourage you to have some sort of meditation for yourself, because it really
Yes.
gives me an opportunity to reflect, and to remember that things are bigger than me. And so
Wow.
I getting out of self and just I that really has been my key to continue personal growth because that gives me time for reflection. That gives me time to recognize areas where I need to improve. It even shows me areas where I'm doing great. Am I being a great mom? Am I being a great wife? Am I being a great daughter? Am I being a great servant to my community? Like, what am I doing? So I would say my prayer life and my relationship with God is definitely the key to it because it keeps me
Wow.
with all of those. It keeps me producing all of those fruits of the spirit: the love, the joy, the peace, the meekness, the kindness, the gentleness, the self-discipline. All of those things that need to happen. I feel like in me as a woman, I feel like that's where it stems from. Is that's my source.
Okay. So you kind of answering my next question. What tips would you have for our audience and women and men business owners, just in generally? You
Oh
have
yeah,
accomplished a lot of success. You have you're where a lot of us want to be, right? To be able to retire because we have a successful business replacing that corporate income. But what if you could give anyone any business tips, what would it be? I
It
mean,
would
for
be
free. This is free. I mean, they gotta retain you to get the real juiciness. So just give away a little, wet their beak a little bit, right? Go ahead.
yeah. So I would say this, and I say this all the time when I get this question, and I believe in it this heavily. I teach it. It's the first thing I teach you if you're in any of my group coaching classes is you have to understand that you are the superhero that you've always been looking for. And so some people are looking for a lot of things outside of themselves to make things happen, whether that's because we've grown up in unfavorable conditions or we've not been surrounded by the right things, or we don't have a knight in shining armor, or we don't have a trophy wife. None of those things matter. What matters is that you understand that you are in full control of your own destiny, that you have free will regardless of what you've been told in your past or what anybody surrounding you currently says, is you are more than capable of doing anything that you would like to do. So creating the life that you want is your full responsibility. And I think that that's the most important thing that I can teach anyone that I come across.
Wow. Thank you for that nugget. All right. Heed that warning, business owners. So, Cynthia, as we close out, I want you to tell us how can we help you level up as Sestras and our international audience, and also tell us how we can contact you before we go into our little quick fun quiz. I want you to tell us about how we can help you level up and how we can connect with you, and tell us about your services, a little bit more about that.
Awesome. So the best way that you can help me level up is by really following me on social media, and not just following, but being participatory. And so once you start actually following, seeing things, you'll find that it's probably going to be easier to engage than you thought, because a lot of it is going to become very relevant to your situation. And I hope that it will resonate with you, particularly if you are someone who's in my niche, and that's anywhere from the first 0 to 5 years of business, or you're just thinking about starting a business. So the first thing that I would love for you to do to help support me is to follow me on any major platform that you're on, because I am on all major social media platforms with the exception of Twitter, now X. So I don't do Twitter, but everywhere else you can find me. So follow at Ellis Management or look for Biz Coach C and you'll find me there. That's the number one thing that would help me level up, is help me build that community.
Okay, so I'm going to make sure that when I post this interview and when it debuts, I'm going to make sure to have your contact information, there. All right, so we're going to follow Cynthia on social media. So let's just end this, get to know you a little better. I'm going to ask you some questions and you just pick one, okay?
Okay.
As we wrap this up.
All right.
Cynthia, where are you going? Paris or Dubai, if you could choose one?
Oh, Dubai.
All right. What are you having to eat, a burger or a hot dog?
Burger with cheese and slaw.
What are you wearing to relax for the day, outing with the family? A sundress or khakis?
Sundress.
All right. Business, LinkedIn or Alignable? Which one do you prefer?
LinkedIn.
All right. Where are you going, Vegas or Florida?
Florida.
French fries or baked potato?
Tater tots.
Okay. Instagram or Facebook? I think I know the answer to this one.
Oh, Facebook.
All right.
I'm a
Last
millennial.
one.
Facebook for sure.
Facebooker. Me too. So last one. I think I know the answer to this too. Are you going on a girls' trip or are you going to the family barbecue if you had to pick one? Girls' trip or family barbecue?
I have to go family barbecue.
Why do you have to? You don't have to do anything.
I know, right? That's free will, right? I don't have to. I would definitely say, yeah, family barbecue first, just because I love hanging out with this crazy crew of mine. But I'm always down for. I was just texting one of my girl groups the other day. I was like, all right, we're going to when are we going to our next brunch? So we got another brunch planned for one Saturday this month. I was like, yeah, let's go.
All right. Okay, we're going to wrap up this episode of Women in Business. Thank you so much, you powerhouse, Cynthia Ellis. We thank you for the opportunity to get to know you better. I look forward to collaborating with you and building our respective empires together and wowing this world. Okay. And
Yes.
again, when we post this interview, I'm going to make sure to include Cynthia's contact information, but you can find her on Facebook. Please follow her on all the her social media platforms. And thank you, everyone, for joining us for this episode of SestraNow Sisterhood's Women in Business, a place where we believe every woman is worthy of the world hearing her story. Okay, bye-bye. Until next time.